Hello, everyone. So I wanted to give you some background information on the next major assignment that we're doing here, which is the first out-of-class essay. It's going to be due February 15th at midnight, right? And so this is Essay 1, Narrative Descriptive. If you go to Course Information Content on the left-hand side, that's one of the major modules on the left, right? Essay 1. Then under Assignments, there's some information about narrative writing and the details for that particular assignment. There is a Dropbox for that under Assessments, Dropbox. It'll be the second one underneath the writing sample. Hopefully you had time to submit that. I'm still going through some of those to get you some comments before then that you could hopefully apply to that. There's no required source. There are topics there. If you read, there's a whole lot of reading about what good narrative writing involves, right? I do want you to have a point that you're trying to express there, like topic ideas that you're exploring through the paragraphs. And I do want you to use colorful, memorable language so that it's not just like sometimes, if you don't have enough specific details, essays can really blend together. So, for example, one of the writing sample topics was what's a true friend? And if you're not careful about that particular topic, your essay might sound exactly the same as somebody else because we can gravitate towards, almost that greeting card definition. Like, what is a true friend? Someone who cares for you, someone who believes in you, someone who, will always be there. Those are all sentence fragments, and yet we fall into those patterns. How can you make it alive? By telling a particular story about a friend, right, with a name, with specific details that are enough to really engage the audience, right? Because there are plenty of friendship stories in literature that come alive, right? You're like, wow, what a great character that is. And so if you just go for the really general statements, that's true, it's not wrong, but there's nothing to set your essay apart from some of the other ones. So try to hone in on that, developing a specific style for narrative writing to illustrate your point in a way that grabs the audience, right? Okay, quiz 3, it's more of the same about fragments and run-ons there. Remember, in order for a sentence to be complete, right, you got to have a noun, a verb that agrees with it, which is the predicate, right? It's also called a predicate, the verb phrase, and it has to represent a complete thought. There are several ways to fix things that are run-ons. So if they're just jammed together, like I like turkey, I like chicken, and I just have them jammed together, I would need to put either a semicolon in the middle there, I like chicken, semicolon, I like turkey, a coordinating conjunction. So if it's asked you to fix it on quiz 3 by coordination, it's the fanboys conjunctions, for and, nor, but, or, yet, so. Now that's coordination, right? It means that there's no dependent clause. I like chicken, comma, and I like steak, right? So there's nothing that is not going to stand on its own. As soon as you put a word like after I ate is just a statement, it's complete. After I ate makes the thought incomplete. So you need to worry about that. So I'm going to spend the rest of this video talking about pronouns. But those words like while, although, after, before, that's subordination. And then the third kind is adverbial conjunctions, right? So you can fix with coordination, subordinating conjunctions, adverbial conjunctions. And I sent out some notes about some of that stuff before. So for quiz 4, you have to worry about replacing the pronouns. And there's two important things because when we're speaking, we tend to say it incorrectly most of the time, right? I might say, just because it's easier to say, everyone raise their hand. I'm technically incorrect because there is a plural pronoun, right? If I said the people raised their hands, I would be right. But everyone is one of those singular pronouns. How do I know? Because it's conjugated with the singular form of the verb. He is, they are. The people are, everyone is, no one is, someone is, one, right? One is. So it's not one are, everyone are, right? That doesn't even sound right because it's a singular. It's a singular. So if it's a singular and it's like a group of singular entities, it's he or, right? He or she or him or her. Okay? So everyone raise his or her hand. Right? That would be how we would actually say that. That's awkward, so normally when we're writing, we just switch to the plural to avoid that kind of problem. Right? So, if I were talking about a class, I could say something like, any student must do what is best for he or she, right? So I could say something like that. So the other distinction with pronouns is whether it's a subject that acts or an object that is acted upon. So we tend to do this right sometimes. So for example, I went to the store. I don't say me went to the store, right? Okay, so if I had two people at the front, Jack and I went to the store is right. Okay, I am doing the action, I went to the store. It's like I take Jack out of there. But if I say Sally went to the store with Jack and me, right? Sally went to the store with Jack and me. To test that, I got to take Jack out. Sally went to the store with me. That's right. I don't say Sally went to the store with I. So you got to check it out because sometimes you'll get it wrong. So it's subject acts, I act, but you give something to me, right? And so it's the same thing with he and him, right? He drove, give the keys to him. Now, when you have a preposition like to, before, between, on, anything that shows location, it's the object form, him, me. The only time you use things like myself, himself, herself, themselves, the only time you use that is when the subject of a sentence that acts and the object is the same person or thing. So, for example, this morning, I dressed myself. Okay, I am being dressed by me in that, right? So if it's the same, the subject and the object are the same, then you can use self, right? They looked at themselves in the mirror. They are all doing an action that literally reflects upon themselves in that one there. Okay, only a few more things. So whether it's a subject or an object, which is acted upon, whether it is a singular or a plural. If it's a singular, we don't have a gender neutral term in English, so you have to do that he or she kind of thing for technically, even though we say it there all the time, right? And then finally, a few exceptions. So when you're doing a comparison of things, it's not really an exception. Like if I say he likes shopping more than me, right? If I actually say he likes shopping more than me, what I've just said is that he likes shopping more than he likes me, because me is an object. And I'm talking about how we both like shopping. I would have to say he likes shopping more than I, because like shopping is implied at the end. He likes shopping more than I like shopping. So whether it does the action there. And this is the last thing. If you have an ing action, like running, jumping, whatever, and there's a pronoun connected to it that the person is doing that action. Okay, so if I said something like, please excuse his leaving the table, right? Some people might be tempted to say, please excuse him leaving the table. Well, we use the possessive form when you have an ing that follows a pronoun that replaces a noun. So please excuse his or their or its leaving the table if it's that ing. So it's an ownership thing. And that should put you in good stead for quiz 4. So one more time, February 15th, start thinking about in advance what you're going to write for that narrative that you're turning in there in the Dropbox. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns, because online is a little bit different modality. So just send me an email or something like that. And I did already send some guidelines for quiz 4 there. So finish quiz 3 and quiz 4 by this Sunday, which should be the 7th, I believe, right? Or whenever Sunday is. I'm really bad with those dates. I apologize there. Yeah. So, all right. You guys have a great day, and let me know if you have any questions.